So next up, we have Elder Myeengun Henry, and he's going to be doing a presentation entitled Revitalizing Traditional Governance Structures at Deshkan Ziibiing. So just as a backgrounder, Myeengun recently attended the AFN conference, and there's been a lot of talk about, revitalizing traditional governance structures and trying to move away from the Indian Act in a lot of nations. So Elder Henry works as an Indigenous knowledge keeper in the Faculty of Health at the University of Waterloo. He provides strategic leadership to the Faculty of Health, helping them coordinate their response to the Truth and Reconciliation calls to action. Elder Henry used to work at Conestoga College, where he was the manager of Indigenous Services, and he was a professor of Indigenous Studies. He has also held the position of elected chief and the Director of Employment Services for Deshkan Ziibiing, also known as the Chippewas of the Thames First Nation. In addition to these leadership roles, Elder Henry is currently an elected band counselor, an Indigenous ceremony conductor, a traditional medicine practitioner, an environmental protectionist, an Indigenous counselor, a powwow coordinator, and he serves as an OPP Indigenous advisor. Please, a very, very warm round of applause for Myeengun Henry.
Good afternoon. None of those things that I'm doing requires half the energy that Benny's displaying today, emceeing and coordinating and doing everything that she's doing today. So let's give her a round of applause because been such a I was thinking earlier, we're during one of the presentations, was Winona Elliott. She brought me to a place this morning because her father and I, going back to the early 70s, traveled out to a place called Wounded Knee, South Dakota, during an uprising that took place over the inclusion of or non-inclusion of Indigenous culture in a community that was governed by an authoritarian who didn't want nothing to do with culture. He wanted to extract the resources from the Black Hills, and that was his whole hope, that community would throw their culture away and to live under the world of money and how that worked out. So I remember going there and battling as a young person the rights of our people, meeting some great speakers who was to guide my future as long as I understood what they were doing. And then it really set the tone for what I was about to experience in life. I become very acquainted with my own culture. I became very acquainted with our strength when we use our medicines in a good way, when we use our elders' teachings to the most fullest way. And walking that path really helped me decide what I really wanted to accomplish in this world. I know Indigenous people, because I work in the health field, we don't live as long as non-Indigenous people. Our life expectancy is sometimes about 15 years less than mainstream society. And so when I started learning about traditional medicines, I was wondering how that could help maybe our people live a little bit longer. And then as I grew a little bit older, I was influenced by the acts of genocide within our communities through the residential school system that infected my family, my parents, and how they pushed the culture away so that we weren't able to practice these things. And then as I got a little bit older, I remember trying to figure out what it is from what I've learned, how we can make a change, and that we can bring Indigenous perspectives to a space where people understand. And I had to go through all the challenges, of course, finding my own self as a member of the Wolf Clan. I was kind of like secretive. I didn't really like to be out in crowds, and I was kind of quiet by nature. But then I found through my clan system that I had the ability to speak to people, and sometimes lead in various ways. And so I explored that. And I found out that my nation who took a very important step in trying to regain our traditional knowledge and the way that we carried our decisions. And I was able to be a part of our community, even though I didn't live there, to a point where they decided they wanted me to be their chief. And I remember that day. It was such an amazing moment for me. Why would, a young person, or maybe I wasn't that young, but definitely wasn't that living on the reserve, be elected to be a part of their future? And I think what it turned out to be was they seen how I was able to interact and learn through the experiences that I've had in the area of standing up as a warrior, to fight for our rights, and then learning how to balance that out with the medicines that give me the ability to see life in a good way, and maybe even a vision of the future. And so this is how I put it together now, after going through those experiences and talking to our band members at our nation. We call Deshkan Ziibiing. We're taking away the English term, which is Chippewas of the Thames, because we now have become very acquainted with our own sense of being along the Thames River, which we now call Deshkan Ziibiing also. This river has inspired our nation to resort back to our traditional way of governing. And then we were investigating how our clan system worked, and we never really lost it. We just kind of got engaged in a modern era. Being situated where we were, it was easy to get jobs and work in society. So the government structure that we had fell under the Indian Act system, which is the chief and governance system. But we knew in our heart, that's really not who we are, and that's not how we make decisions. And so I got involved in that part of the governance system, and I think I tried to help as best I can. So I've spent 10 years as a counselor and 1 year as chief. And now that I'm done with that part for now, I sat by a river, and after I decided that I wasn't going to run and be a part of that political world anymore, I was just contemplating about our future, in general, as all Indigenous people from this land. And I come to terms with a thought. I was sitting there, and one of our ways of talking to our Creator is through our pipe ceremonies. We understand that is we put tobacco in the pipe, and we send our thoughts and our prayers up to Creator. We ask Creator, maybe you can help me with a decision or a thought that I may be struggling with, or maybe something's happening in my community, and we can send them prayers and thoughts. And so sitting by the river after my political career, it became very clear to me that humans on this earth just keep confusing everything. We've become a structured nature of finding patterns and relations to other systems that actually goes against what we now consider our strongest governance system is our natural law. Because every constitution and every proclamation that I've seen only involves human beings that say we have the right to make decisions on what goes on this planet. I'm now fully convinced that all those structures have taken us in a path that deviates from our relationship to this beautiful land we call Mother Earth. Everyone and all human beings that follow these structures seems to think that our superiority over and dominance of all other co-tenants on this earth find a path that only feeds us in our economic and social abilities. So at that time by the river, thinking about these things, how it wasn't necessary to follow a certain type of constitution, except for the one that we made with our Creator, that we would be the co-tenants on this earth with respect to every other being that lives on this planet. Every small animal, every flying insect, every bird that has a right to live on this land as we do. And I think this is where my future thoughts are becoming a lot stronger in the ceremonies that I'm participating in. Gives me a chance to feel that relationship with the natural earth and the natural law. Because a tree doesn't grow upside down, water doesn't usually flow away from the balance of nature. And we should also consider those types of being as we walk on this earth, to be able to govern with people, to be able to make decisions that our decision affects those around the world. Our use of cars and our use of technology, you know, it's great in one sense, but it sometimes takes us away from our sustainability for our children and grandchildren. So I think this is where, in my mind, and I might be way off target, you know, with how people at institutions think or people in governance positions think, but I think we need to pull us back to reality and to share this land the way that we could do better. And then I think we'll find better structures that is more natural for each and every one of us to live on, to be able to live in cooperation with every other nation in this world, to be able to respect and align ourselves to feel the medicine that the Creator has given us to walk this world in a balanced way. It might be different, you know, from what I'm saying or what we're hearing, but it's definitely a vision that it wasn't just mine. It comes through some of our ancestors that have really trying to tell us that we need to do things better. And if we can continue to create systems that forget about our natural elements and our beautiful mother, the earth, then we're on a destination of danger, I think. And I think we still need to pull ourselves back into thinking about the natural law that we were all given. Nobody on this earth, you know, has, I guess, devised a perfect system. In humans, we like to make the systems that, you know, work for our ways, but we definitely need to find a way to pull balance back together again. And I think that's what we, at least in my lifetime, will be the structure that I'm going to ask for in my ceremonies. It's nice that we have these models and people have different historical, you know, places of working out these structures, but we're all human beings. In the end, we all have a heart. We need water. We need food. We need to love each other. We need to follow this route that allows us to rid ourselves of the racism that we face today and all the other structures that allowed us to become disassociated with each other. And maybe with that type of future, or at least thought, maybe we can encourage our young children to be able to think of unity across the world where humans can actually get together and work, you know, for our future generations. I think we're at that stage in life now where we need to at least consider that. It's going to take a lot of thinking. Maybe you're in your own ceremonies that you might have with yourself to how this is going to be generated somehow. But, you know, we just need to do something that's a little bit different. I love our traditional governance systems, our clan system, how we made decisions. And I think we could put the best out of all that into our future forms of governance that we have. So that'll be the structure that I'm hoping to achieve someday, you know, maybe not in my lifetime, but, you know, that message, if we can start letting that be heard somewhere, maybe the United Nations and big agencies like that will be able to come together and to make good decisions on this beautiful planet that we have. So this morning when we started, you know, we started off with a drum song and we had our hands together. And that's the governance structure that I'm talking about. Us all together, different nations, hands together, strong, and in our aspirations to be able to come and to share and to be a part of a world that we're so proud of. And I think that's really what our Creator wants us to do. I think we have to consider that because this is a time that we are seeing changes. Our world is being damaged, through climate change and ill political, maneuvers that's really changing how people think. Now we have a system of follow me or follow them. And if we don't, we'll go to war with each other. That's right in the governance. I see it in Parliament every day. I see it in the United States governance system right now, how evil and angry it all came to be. Is that what we're striving for? Are we still going to continue on with a system that doesn't even identify the land we call mother? That is, I think, where we need to start making our structural changes. And that comes from each and everyone's heart that's here, to have that ability to carry what is love, honor, respect within your own heart, and how we look at our brothers and sisters on this land, so that we can care for them and not hurt them. That's what I think a future governance system could look like, if we can just find a path in our heart to be able to vision something. And, if I know my creation story well enough, that's really how the earth started, to be able to work together in harmony with all other beings that Creator put on this earth. And we did so quite well for quite a while. But this human species thought they were, at least came to the conclusion they were superior to others. And then that's when things started changing. So that's really why I see the future a little bit different. I really feel that if we at least acknowledge different points of view that comes from a unity approach, then maybe we can strive at these different abilities to govern and to walk this earth in the short 80 years that we have on this earth, and to be able to say we love one another, and to feel the strength of, no matter what color you are or what continent you come from, we're all human beings working together to sustain this beautiful planet we call Mother Earth. So I just thought I would leave you with that, and with that isn't really what I came up here to talk about, but it definitely it just had to come out that way. And I felt like, after hearing especially Winona's presentation with her dad, and her grandma was actually my first Indigenous language instructor. So before she left, I had to go and tell her that I know her family very well. And she talked about her brother, who passed away just recently, became a really good friend of mine, and was here at the university not too long ago. And this family just brought something back into me. So that's why I think what came out today in this talk was this way. So I'm gonna close out with a little song that we use, because they say that the heartbeat of our Mother Earth, we mimic her in our drum. And so when you hear the drum, it's really your heartbeat. It's the heartbeat of our Mother, the Earth, connecting and allowing us to become humans in full harmony together. And that's what our elders always said. If we can find a path of harmony, we'll find a path of love. So I'll start this real short song, but the drum is so powerful. When you hear that drum, you think about when you were in your mother's womb. And imagine when you were there and you were just forming your human components. What you heard was that drum, just like this. And it was steady, and it was strong, and it was nourishing. And you felt secure because you were in your mother's womb, feeling the love that your mother had for you. And so when that drum sounded, you connected with that so well. And so as that drum beat allowed us to understand that, we all felt that comfort of it. So this is for all those beautiful babies who are about to be born, and the ones in the future that will be on this earth at some point. Way up, hey up, hey, high up, way up, hey, hey, way up, hey, hey, way up, hey, hey, ho, hey, high, hey, ho, hey, way high, yo, Way I hi ya hey ya ho hey. Way ya hey ya hey hi ya way ya hey ya hey yo. Way ya hey ya hey ha. Way ya hey ya hey ya ho hey hi ya hey ya ho hey. Way I hi yo. Way I hi ya hey ya ho hey. Way ya hey ya hey hi ya way ya hey ya hey yo. Way ya hey ya hey ha. Way ya hey ya hey ya ho hey hi ya hey ya ho hey. Way I hi yo. Way I hi ya hey ya ho hey. And they say the last verse of this song is the one that we use to communicate with those of our ancestors who are in Creator's world, because they no longer need a heartbeat. And when Creator says it's time to leave this earth, first thing Creator does is take your heartbeat. And when a heartbeat is stalled and stopped, our bodies separate from the physicalness that we are to the spirit world that we become. And I think when those that have traveled on this earth, those beautiful people that tried to see the future now are in Creator's world, we honor them with the last verse of this song. And we don't use the drum because we only need it while we're walking on this earth. Way hey hey hi way hey hey way hey hey ha way hey hey ho hey hi hey ho hey way I hi yo way I hi hey hey ho hey way hey hey oh. Miigwech, everybody. Thanks for allowing me to speak with you.